It was during winter break in 2015 when I first decided to try out Tinder, the app everyone was talking about. I figured, since I didn't have a girlfriend and didn't have much going on, why not give it a shot? It was around 8 or 9 p.m. on a Thursday night, prime time for activity on the app. I downloaded the app and spent about 10 minutes setting up my profile. I found 4 good photos of myself that I thought would get people's attention. Since I wasn't skilled at writing a witty or funny bio, I just listed a few facts about myself. That I was 6 feet tall, played hockey at Penn State, and loved to work out. I swiped right on pretty much everyone just to see how many people would swipe right on me. I got through the given 100 likes faster than I expected, and not a single one was a match. My self-esteem took a nosedive. I always thought of myself as pretty good looking, so I couldn't understand why nobody liked me back. I was about to delete the app to save my ego, when finally, a single vibration from my phone announced, "Congratulations, you have a new match." Overly excited, I opened the app and saw that I had matched with the most gorgeous girl on the app. She was 20, just like me, and went to Syracuse University. I messaged her with a simple, "Hey." 10 seconds later, she replied, "Hey, cutie." I took a moment to think of something smart to say, and eventually wrote something lame about her sorority. She responded quickly again, saying, "Oh my God, that's so cool." Then she sent a message that surprised me. "You're so cute and so close. What are you doing tonight?" I was excited and thought the app was easier than I expected. I quickly replied, "Just watching Elf, you know? Pretty exciting stuff." She wrote back, "Oh my God, no way, me too. You should come over and we can watch it together." After she sent the address, I told her I was in. The address was only about a 10-minute drive from my house. I told my mom I was going out and left. I pulled up to the house, which was on a quiet, almost desolate side of town. The location was a bit isolated. A red flag immediately went up when I noticed 2 cars in the driveway. I texted her to say I was there and she replied, "KK, go around back, the front door is loud." I asked if her parents were home, but she didn't answer. I got out of the car and slowly walked around the side of the house. As I passed a window, I noticed an opening in the blinds. Someone was holding them up, but as soon as I saw it, they dropped back into place. I texted her, "Was that you at the window?" No response. This was getting a little creepy. I continued walking slowly toward the backyard. I could hear brief sounds like a yard chair scraping against concrete. I was so nervous that I froze at the corner of the house. I gradually poked my head around and saw no one in the backyard, so I walked to the back door. It was an old sliding glass door, and I could partially see inside. Another huge red flag went up. Not a single light was on in the house. I told myself I'd text her one more time, and if she didn't respond, I was out of there. Within 10 seconds, she replied, "Come in." I was not comfortable with that. I decided to call her for the first time. When I entered the number, the screen said, "Text Now audio call." Text Now is an app that provides a fake phone number for calls and texts. This meant whoever this was had been using a fake number the whole time. However, the most disturbing part was when I heard a ringtone coming from right behind the glass door. As I looked closer, I could see the glow of a phone screen right next to the door, confirming that somebody was hiding there. Instead of running, I tried to draw as little attention as possible. I calmly walked back around the house in the opposite direction, and once I was out of view, I ran full speed to my car and drove home. I didn't check my phone until I got back. I had 15 new messages waiting for me. About 12 of them were asking, "Where'd you go?" and "Why'd you leave?" The last 3 were more disturbing. 1. I'm not actually a 20-year-old girl, but I'm sure you figured that out by now. 2. No laws were broken. LOL, good luck. 3. I know exactly what you look like, and I have your number. I blocked his fake number and tried to report and unmatch him on Tinder, but he had already done it. The whole thing was something straight out of a nightmare. Luckily, I never got any calls or texts from anyone suspicious again, and I was able to forget about it quickly. I have used Tinder a few times since, but just for fun. I've never made an effort to go out and meet anyone from the app ever again. A few months ago, I was on Tinder out of boredom. I wasn't looking for anything serious, definitely not a relationship. It was just one of those times to see who swiped on me for fun and to have some pointless chats. There was always a chance a girl would be down to meet up for the night, and I might get lucky. That night, however, I was the opposite of lucky. My first 20 or so swipes were full of matches, and I sent some corny pickup lines to a few girls I found attractive. But there was one girl who messaged me first. Her name was Michelle, a 23-year-old blonde who was a solid 9 out of 10, almost unrealistically attractive. The fact that she said hey first was pretty intoxicating, and I was a little intoxicated myself already. Things went so smoothly that I decided to be bold and turn the conversation sexual, which also went well. I escalated things further by getting her number to try and set something up for that same night. To my surprise and delight, she seemed really willing, but she wanted to meet somewhere first before going back to her place. I was fine with that. She took charge and set a time and place to meet, a small park by her house at 10 p.m. It was a little odd, but I was down. I literally counted the minutes until around 9:45 p.m. when I decided it was time to leave. Before heading out, I sent a quick confirmation text, and she said she was still on her way. The drive to the small residential park was about 10 minutes, so I got there a little early. I walked over to the swing set, the exact spot where she wanted to meet. I didn't want to seem needy, so I waited until exactly 10:02 p.m. on the dot to text her, saying I was there. This is when she stopped responding. 10:05, 10:10. I was just sitting there waiting, with no response. At first, I thought she was driving, but as the minutes passed, the idea that she had flaked became more and more realistic. The park was very woodsy and surrounded by trees. Since it was a weekday night, no one was around, and it felt kind of creepy. The only light was from a motion detecting lamp on the small bathroom shack. As I sat on the swing, pushing back and forth in boredom and disappointment, I froze. The squeaky sound of the swing chain stopped, allowing me to hear something echoing from the bathroom shack. It sounded like someone was pulling the handle of a paper towel dispenser, an intentional sound. This wouldn't be completely strange, but who would be in a tiny park at 10:15 p.m. on a weekday night, especially if the bathrooms were likely locked? Suddenly, I felt my phone vibrate. Excited, I whipped it out and saw a new text from Michelle. It said, "Hey, just got here. Come into the bathroom. I have a surprise for you." My heart dropped as I read it. The butterflies I felt weren't from innocent nervousness. They were from a disturbed and freaked out feeling. My thumbs hovered over the phone as I tried to conjure up a response. Then she sent another text. "Get off the swing and come here." As I read the text, I looked up at the tiny bathroom building. I opened my mouth, almost ready to scream, when I saw half of a person's face peering out from the entrance of one of the bathrooms, leering at me on the swing. They slowly moved out of sight after just half a second. I couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman, but I knew something was terribly wrong. I was disturbed as hell. I quietly got off the swing and tiptoed away from the playground. When I was far enough away, I ran for it, back to my car. The run back to my car was one of the most horrific experiences of my life, as I had the constant fear of somebody chasing me. As soon as I locked my car, I was able to pause for a breather, but nothing compared to the gut-wrenching fear I felt when I took one last look into the park and saw a grown man emerge from the trees, running towards my car. I turned the key in the ignition and practically threw the car into drive before it was even fully started. When I was halfway down the road and looked back, there was nobody in the street. When I pulled into my driveway, I sat there for 10 minutes, thinking and reflecting. I felt like a changed person, like I finally knew what it truly felt like to appreciate life after having my own life threatened. I deleted my Tinder account and then the app itself. I didn't tell any of my family members besides my older brother. Luckily, I've had a girlfriend for the past 2 months, so I don't even have to think about using that app anymore.